I don't need my blaster. I'm gonna need something else. And then all of a sudden the lights turn on. Vader's standing at the top of the stairs saying, "The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you were not a Jedi yet." And I'm just saying, like, that moment, it just that setup makes Empire, in my opinion, the best fucking movie because the minimal dialogue exchanged mid-fight, and it was like, not only that, it was a 3-tier like boss fight. Phase 1 was the carbonite freezing chamber where they fought at the top of the staircase. Phase 2 was in the hallways by the window where Vader amped up his skill and started throwing objects with the Force and seeing how Luke would react. And easily missing some of them was a little cheesy, but whatever. Flies out the window, and then Phase 3, Vader go all fucking berserk on him, just like he's hiding around a corner and Luke walks out and Vader tries his head, and then it ensues into a full-on Vader frenzy of him just pummeling Luke down. So eventually he gets him on the damn ground, points a saber in his face, saying, "You're beaten." And I just love the aspect and the quickest twist in all Star Wars that "I am your father" happened during that fight. And I also love the little grunts Vader makes throughout the fight, like when Luke kicks him in the chest, he's like, "Oh!" And like when Luke hits him in the fucking shoulder, he's like, "Oh, burn!" And he tries to like get Luke, and that's when he cuts his hand off. Just those little funny effects, the Vader grunts, like his little, I don't know, his sounds he makes when Luke hits him, like some shit. I think that's personally like unrivaled the best fight in Star Wars. You could argue Obi-Wan and Anakin, but I just love the crudity and the rawness of that fight. Like Luke swings it like a baseball bat for real. Like there's like no form. He just swings it like a fucking like he's trying to hit a pinata, dude. No form at all. I love it. You can tell the choreography that's my favorite
got better. Choreography definitely got better as they went along.
Exactly. It's just more real though and raw. Like, you just like look like this dude's shaking in his fucking booting a masked man wearing all black with like a red saber, and he's just like, fuck. Like, you know, he went in that battle knowing he was gonna die. Like, he went to go save his friends with no regard for his life whatsoever. You couldn't really say the same thing about other people. Like, true. I guess for Obi-Wan knew, like, I'm gonna die trying to kill Anakin. Like, it's me or him. That's why that fight is so many. It's like only one of us is coming out of this alive. You know, that's my favorite fight. So all right, there you go.
Amadeus.
Yes. Well, it was said earlier, Obi-Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar. It's by far the most violent installment in the Skywalker saga. You got limbs just being lost, and it's the longest fight in the series. So I have to also say it's the most expensive fight in all of the Skywalker saga.
I could definitely see that. Look at all the special effects they have involved with that.
Yeah.
Just absolutely nuts.
I think the only other thing that brought me to that fight was that even Obi-Wan tried to bring Anakin back, even though he knew that he was already lost. Like we said, that just a little bit of dialogue brings more to the fight, and that's one thing that I enjoyed about it.
Nice. Julian, what do you got?
Me for Star Wars. Oh, man.
Best lightsaber fight. What do you got?
Best lightsaber fight? Well, I'm just going to say this right now. I enjoyed every single one equally on the board. Because here's the thing. Like, I'm like, as everyone was talking about, like, you know, Darth Vader versus Luke in Cloud City. Darth Vader versus Luke there on the Death Star. Like that, I'll say that one there was a very high favorite, because more so how it was the aspect of pure silence. All you hear is the sabers going. It's like just pure. You can pretty much just say this is pure emotion of father versus son. This is it. I'm going to show you, Father, who I am. I'm going to bring you back. And then Vader looking at him like, yeah, I'm going to fucking show you, son, and I'm going to show you the power of the dark side, and we can rule this, we can take out the Emperor and rule together. And then you go to fucking Anakin and Obi-Wan there, the fucking raw emotional fight there. All that shit. And then you go to fucking Palpatine and Yoda and Dooku and Yoda and so forth and so forth. Like I said, the whole entire series, Star Wars in general, is awesome, and all the lightsaber fights are awesome. Even the animated ones, even though the animated ones could do more because, you know, it's animated and can make the people do fucking more crazy shit that they can't do in real life. But still, all awesome. So yeah, like I said, favorite fight, I cannot decide on a specific one, so I say I like them all.
You did a good job of explaining why you like them all, too. You didn't just...
I like that answer.
Yeah, that worked very, very well. Josh, what do you get? Have I hit you?
Oh, mine has to be...
it doesn't matter.
Mine has to be Yeah, Zero don't care. It has to be Anakin and Obi-Wan. That's my favorite.
Yeah, just
Just the yeah, it was just crazy. I loved it. First time I saw that, I'm like, yep, that's what really got me into Star Wars. Was watching that fight.
that's a good reason there. A good reason for loving it, getting you into Star Wars. So I'm gonna go outside the box since we pretty much got most of my list, but I'm gonna say the Ahsoka Vader fight. Even though that's probably not my favorite, but just because everything else has been talked about, I love just the absolute amazing dialogue in that, the pure emotions, the fact that you've been waiting an entire season to see those two interact with each other and face each other, and to have that epic of a lightsaber duel in amongst the things that they're saying to each other, and then to see Anakin behind that mask for the first time, other than when he, right when he was about to die in Return of the Jedi, I just thought was absolutely amazing, and the stakes were high enough, and it's two characters that are dear to my heart. So I love that. I thought it was
I agree with
phenomenal.
you because the dialogue that both of them shared together, it was like master and apprentice, and it was just good. Her trying to avenge him, and him saying that he doesn't know vengeance, but it was good.
So yeah, let's go into the next. I think Josh kind of talked about this just a little bit, but what's got you into Star Wars? What was the thing that first really caught your eye or caught your ears or whatever, and you're like, man, this is a franchise that I could really get down with. What do you got, Zero? What was the first thing you really remember?
The first Star Wars episode I ever saw was episode 4 on VHS.
The original, not the updated.
The original.
Nice.
I am which of them?
Like in, I think it was like 97 when I first saw it. I was young. I think the coolest thing I saw was probably when the first time you see Darth Vader on screen. After the initial first assault on the ship.
Did you remember knowing who Darth Vader was before that, or
I don't know who he was. He looked cool.
nice?
I see this dude in all black who looks awesome and just commanding people. It's like, this dude's awesome.
Yeah, he probably the most
Simpler
iconic villain of all time.
And
I can't.
then,
think
of course, when I saw Alderaan get blown up, I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Like, ooh, look at all those people
I don't care
die.
about these people or nothing. I was like, this whole planet just blew up. This is cool.
I could just see our
Is there
planet
more of
getting
this?
blown up in some alien species being like, "Hey, remember that time Earth blew up? That was awesome."
I know, right? Fuck the humans.
Galaxy's
deserve it.
better off now.
Exactly. A real purge.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a simple man. I like simple things.
Yeah, get rid of us before we become spacefaring.
It's like, don't just kill me, kill us all.
Let's see.
Yeah, that it's real simple for me. I liked it.
Nice.
Then, not too long after that, episode 1 came out. Because episode 1 came out, what?
99.
Yeah. And I saw episode 1. Then, of course, you see Darth Maul and that lightsaber fight. I'm like, ah, this is awesome.
Yeah, somebody asked if we're gonna read other people's comments on their favorite fights too. We'll get to that here in the end and kind of hear what everybody else has to say for favorite lightsaber duels. Did you go from episode 4 to episode 1 like straight away, or did you watch 5 and 6?
Oh, I watched 5 and 6.
Okay.
Because we had them.
Whoa. I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm in the same boat as you, Zero. Like, I watched 4, 5, and 6 on VHS, and then here comes 1, 2, and 3 out afterwards, and it's like, okay, well, I just watched them all in complete opposite order.
Did anybody possibly out there get to see 4, 5, and then for whatever reason didn't see 6 until they saw the prequels? Probably nobody.
Probably my mother.
Yeah. Because, I mean, wouldn't that be kind of cool, not knowing that Anakin gets redeemed in the end and kind of finding out that that's as you're watching the prequel trilogy, you're like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I've heard people mention that watch order online before about watching six last after the prequels. Yeah.
That was the thing too. Like when I saw saw the well how to yeah saw the how the fuck can I say it? Like the three Hope Empire Jedi. When I saw those VHS as a kid growing up, I was like, all right, cool, whatever. These movies are awesome. Then you go and watch the first three, or say Episode 1, Phantom Menace. I'm just like watching it. It's like, oh, what's this kid? Anakin Skywalker. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm just like, Anakin Skywalker. I'm like, he hasn't even said his last name. Same name as this guy, Luke Skywalker. I'm like, he must be his father. X amount years later, Episode 3. Oh yeah, we have a kid, Luke and Leia. I'm like, called it.
You don't remember Return of the Jedi when Luke called him Anakin Skywalker?
That name has no meaning.
Well, dude,
for me, the second I saw it, I knew immediately.
Well, dude, like I said, I was like a kid watching. I was like, I wasn't.
Yeah, you didn't take notice of that small detail.
Yeah. See, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, like small details, stuff like that. Like you only like when you're a kid watching stuff, you only really kind of pay attention to the big details that's happening, like the big things happen on the screen, not the people talking all the small details, learning the story and the lore and stuff like that. You're just like, oh, I want to see stuff happen. Oh, there's this guy who's awesome who does this big move. Yeah, cool. Now as an adult, you're like, I like this person because they're like this and they're emotionally like this, and I got this connection with them and blah 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 blah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Like your relationship with Star Wars kind of changes as you go. I was just
pretty
thinking,
much.
If it wasn't for the prequels, that line where he says Anakin Skywalker in it was a Jedi that he said it, right?
That name no longer has any meaning to me. He doesn't even repeat it. He just says
that's
that
almost
name.
a throwaway name. If it wasn't for the prequels, like his name was really irrelevant until they came back and did the prequels. I think.
Agreed.
Amadeus. Let's
What's
see.
up?
Have I hit you up yet on this one? Or entry point for Star Wars.
You did yesterday.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Yesterday.
Yes.
Do a little Beatles.
Yesterday was yesterday. Today is new.
Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Like legitly, they're here to stay. You better answer. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So what was your answer to that? What was your entry?
I started with the last film, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and then I had to go back to A New Hope because that's what I was told at that time, where it began. And after that, I watched all three, and then I went to the prequels. I think when I started it, it was actually the same year that the prequel started.
So you did episode 3, you did Revenge of the Sith, and then
I did episode 4, 5, and 6, and then I did episode 1.
Gotcha. What
You're the same path as me.
Like what caught your eye? What was it about Star Wars that were like, man, I got to find out more about this. I got to see all this.
Well, I'm a fiction type. I like fantasy itself. So when I was first drawn into Star Trek, and I saw that Star Trek wasn't giving me that, fiction fantasy vibe, sci-fi vibe. So when I was told about Star Wars, I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And Star Wars brought me all the fiction, fantasy, and sci-fi into what I wanted. And I continued watching it. And ever since I saw Vader, ever since I saw Han, Luke, Leia, I actually fell in love with it.
And I would say that, one good point there is that Star Wars isn't sci-fi. Star Wars is fantasy. I mean, yes. I guess it's got sci-fi elements to it, but it is definitely a fantasy franchise. It just happens to take place out in space.
Fantasy adventure.
Agreed.
Fantasy. You could say, also to add in a little medieval kind of thing, knights, Jedi Knights in order, all that kind of stuff in a way.
Folklore. It's like a story of folklore.
Well, you look at it, all the influences that make sense. George Lucas was heavy into mythology and all that type of jazz.
Love Japanese folklore as well.
All right, who we got next? I'm doing a horrible job of paying attention to who I've asked so far. Let's see. Cactus, have I hit you up on this one yet?
No.
Okay, all right. What was your entry point? Star
Well,
Wars.
my relationship with Star Wars goes as far back as I could remember life. So these are accounts from family members and older siblings of what I would do when I was very young. So the Star Wars I grew up were the 1997 special editions. The other guy mentioned he said 97. He said he saw the original VHSs, but I'm sorry to break it to you. If you saw them 97, there's a chance you might have saw special editions, not the 95 original cuts, and so on and so
With the
forth. I
actual
believe
puppets.
there's like I know there's like a million different cuts on VHSs. There's like the CBS Fox like 85 editions. There's like an 87. There's like a 90, 92, and then they skipped over to 95, which that was the first VHS that was actually remastered with THX sound. Fast forward 2 years came the special editions where they inserted Jabba the Hutt in the movie. Sorry, a little off topic, but that's the one I grew up with. The one where they first put Jabba the Hutt in, just to paint the picture for you.
Gotcha.
And so apparently I was like watching Star Wars when I was around 2 years old or so, and I had no recollection of this. But when I would finish the movie on VHS, I would stick it back in, hit rewind, and start it again from the very beginning. And so I probably saw 4, 5, and 6 roughly 30 plus times before even Phantom dropped. And when Phantom dropped, I was around 3 years old. And I saw it in theaters. We took my Mexican grandmother, who doesn't speak a lick of English, to see Phantom Menace. I couldn't even imagine what she thought of it. Like, being like 65, 70 years old, don't even speak English, and you're watching the Phantom Menace. Like, what is going on? Like, I know my grandchild's obsessed with this, but that's why I'm here. Like,
She's probably watching that like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. That said, this shit crazy.
for real. Like, I can't even imagine what thoughts are running through her head.
At least,
I do remember when it. Yeah, and I remember when it dropped on, like, I barely remember seeing it in theaters, but I do remember when it came out on VHS, and I went to this place called Hollywood Video, which is like a rival to Blockbuster, and honestly kind of better than Blockbuster, to be real. And I got Phantom Menace on VHS. My brother, who's 2 years older than me, I remember picking him up from kindergarten. I just remember I was so pumped to get home and watch fucking Phantom Menace on repeat a million fucking times over and over till the VHS is just worn out. And so I just remember that was like my obsession. Was I don't really remember a time before one came out that was like very vague, like almost like it's a dream, like that, as far back as it can go. Because me specifically, I don't know why, but I kind of remember things from when I was 3 years old, and I talked to a lot of people about that, and they're like, I don't even remember when I was 6 years old. I'm like, you're crazy. How do you not remember? Like, I remember at least 2 years before I started kindergarten, in total, like legit 3. I don't know if that's just me or what. Like, I've talked to some people that can remember that far back. I don't know about you guys, but for me, my obsession was like 4, 5, 6, 1 on repeat. And then when Attack of the Clones came out, I was 6 years old. The perfect age for a movie like that. Like, I was the target audience, right? Yeah. And I was just obsessed. Natalie in theaters, fucking showing her stomach. I was like, yep, she's an angel, all right. Like, facts. There's no denying it now. I was just obsessed. I was fucking Anakin Skywalker that year for Halloween, dude. Oh my god. Like, 1, 2, like... Oh, so I cannot tell you how obsessed with I am. Oh yeah, I can't even remember a time before it. That's what I'm saying. Same goes with Toy Story. Like, Toy Story and Star Wars were so closely knit in like my brain sponge years. Like when your brain's learning all these things and growing a lot. That's probably why I'm such a Star Wars nut. And even to this day, I still watch these movies in like just too many times per year. Don't even ask me. I've already seen all the movies 1 through 6. I don't even really count 7 and 8. 9 as the movies. Like 1 through 6, I've already seen 4 to 5 times this year already. And on my fifth watch through, I'm watching 1, 2, all of Clone Wars, currently on season 7. Then I'm gonna pump through freaking Solo, Rebels, Rogue One, and so on and so forth again, just because why not? And I also like make all my friends watch them. I got people I've never even seen Star Wars to watch them.
I've tried to get people into like.
I've gotten chicks who've never seen Star Wars to watch Star Wars, and they loved it, dude.
You know what? You're doing good. You're doing God's work.
I've gotten so many people, and like people on PlayStation
You're
parties.
doing God's work to convince everyone.
I'm like in a Battlefront community, and I've gotten so many people on that community to watch Clone Wars and Rebels that I never wanted to give it a chance ever, just because I won't shut up about it.
Hey, I got a question for you. So with your age during the prequels, and maybe anybody else that can answer this, did Jar Jar annoy you in the beginning?
Oh no, not at all. A lot of people my age like Jar Jar. Just saying, like. But no, at the same time, it was a love-hate relationship. Like, oh, he's so freaking stupid. Like it had something so much better in its place, but it's also like Misa back. Like you can't help but not like when he says stupid things like that. Like oh big or like Maxi big the Force. Like I just love Jar Jar doubting the Force. I know this is a stretch, but in my opinion, Jar Jar fills the role of C-3PO in Han Solo and Phantom Menace. He's the comedic relief as well as the doubter of the Force. He doubts the Force the same as Han, and not only that, he's the comedic relief character. He low-key fills the 3PO Han Solo role in the movie. Like, you could deny that, but in my opinion, he does.
See the C-3PO role. I can totally see that.
But the way he doubts the Force, like Han's like, the Force is bullshit, and then Jar Jar's like, the Force is bullshit. They both have like that. Maybe it was just that one specific, like they mirrored it just to give it a parallel. Like Star Wars is poetry; it rhymes, dude, for real. Yeah, like I'm sure everyone knows this by now.
Yes.
But when 3 came out, that was like the pinnacle of like movie existence. Like probably Revenge of the Sith is the greatest movie I've ever seen in theaters. Besides like a week ago when I saw Empire Strikes Back for the 40th anniversary. Like those two movie experiences are like my top movie experiences of all time. Like I remember at the theater the night Revenge came out, and I saw, like it was playing in a different theater, and we were lined up for my theater, and I opened the door to one, peeked my head, and I saw like Natalie Portman for a second. I was like, oh, I should not have looked at that. Why did I do that? I should not have seen that. I just remember it so vividly, like it was yesterday, man. Oh man, so that's how far back I go, and I've forever have been obsessed to the point where I honestly, I'm gonna be real, I know almost every line to every movie in 1 through 6. If you say a line, I could probably finish the dialogue.
So you're the uber geek here.
I'm like, I need to enter some trivia contest facts.
Yeah.
Not many people knew that Natalie Portman was 16 at that time, and that her
She was 16.
Dude, you want me to blow your mind? She was scouted for the role in Phantom Menace in 1994, dude. She was scouted for it. George is like, that chick, she's gonna be hot when she grows up. I'm picking her as Padme.
Well,
like, dead ass, dude. I'm not even joking.
Did you ever see The Professional? Like
no, I have not.
It's a great movie. Like her role, you could.
Oh yeah, she was a child actress.
And we're fucking that. She was with that guy, and also too the guy who I don't know the actor's name, but I know who you're talking about. He's a French guy. He also too going on video game wise. Have you guys heard of the Onimusha series on the PS2? The Onimusha series. He was in Onimusha. What was it? Yeah, he was in the third one. There's a character in the third one. No, voice actor and likely
his character model. Like wow, that's crazy.
Yep, character
on
model.
PS2 days. Wow, they didn't really do that often back then.
Yup, for Onimusha.
So Cactus says that if we give him a quote, he can actually,
let's hear
finish it off. You guys want to test us? You want to test him off on that?
What do you got?
All right, I'll start off with an easy one. Luke.
What are you like?
Ooh,
that's not a quote. That's not a quote. Like,
I thought they finished. I thought they finished.
Make sure to remind your uncle to get a droid that speaks Bocce. That's the first time they ever say, Luke, I could do that. That's the first time Luke's name is said.
I thought you were saying, okay, I thought you were saying finish the quote. Okay, I was saying it's like, you get the most iconic one where Luke
But he doesn't say Luke in the one you're thinking of.
Or how about we do this instead? We give him a quote and he tells us who says it.
I could say who says what in response to it. For the majority of it, my weakest movies in that are Return of the Jedi and I think Empire are my weakest in quotes. 1 through 4, my quotes are like on point.
Okay.
But 5 and 6 are like my lesser on the quote side.
All right, Cactus. Just for once, let me look on you with my own eyes.
Yeah, that's fucking Darth Vader dying, and he's like, I'm trying to think what he said. Let me look at you with my own eyes. And he just like they look at each other, Luke and Vader, and Luke doesn't say much. He just kind of is staring, looking side to side, his eyes darting back and forth, and Vader's like, "You were right."
See, I would challenge your answer. I would challenge your answer because he turned back to Anakin by that time.
Okay, whatever. If you want to say no, technically not. Technically, he's still Vader. The moment he becomes Anakin is in the moment of death. There's a whole novelization about how Obi-Wan's spirit...
You're correct. You are correct.
Obi-Wan's spirit guides him to turning into a Force ghost. So, by that logic, he's kind of Vaderkin. I'll call him Vaderkin.
Yeah.
So, how about this one?
But Luke doesn't really say much at him. He just says, but when he's like, help me take off this mask, and he's like, but you'll die. He's like, nothing can stop that now. No, he said nothing can stop that now. And then he doesn't really say much after that. It's just kind of silence, and then he he doesn't really say much the whole time. He just says, "You tell your sister you were right," and he just kind of falls over, and it's like dun 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 dun.
Well,
dun, dun.
maybe.
I
Well,
can even say the music goes with. And you know what's funny is there's an Imperial officer running in the background that stops and looks at them for a split second and keeps going. Like, imagine what was running through that guy's head. Like, yo, was that Darth Vader without his mask? Like, what the fuck? Who is that guy with him?
It would have been funny if he would have gone up and teabagged him.
Dude, imagine what that guy's thought. He probably told the other Imperial officers about it, and they're like, "You're lying." Like, for the rest of his life, he's gonna be like 60 years old. Like, yeah, one time I saw Darth Vader on the ground. Some dude in black was like with him, and then just no one will ever believe him for the rest of his life. All right, you guys got another one for me? Try one that's not so basic.
All right, I got one that's not so basic. Let's see. My friend gave it to me. He actually one of the my friends just gave it to me now because he's watching the stream as well. In time, the suffering of your people will persuade you to see our point of view.
The suffering of our people will persuade you to see our point of view. Oh, that's from the Separatist Alliance from fucking that was the Separatists, right? No? The suffering of our people will allow you to see our view. That's the quote verbatim?
That's the
suffering of your people, you mean not our people? The suffering of your people?
The suffering of your people will persuade you to see our point of view.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that what Newt Gunray says to Padme, or Queen Amidala, correct?
That is Newt Gunray, correct?
Yeah.
The Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some Separatist dialogue lines that I'm just like a little iffy on, but I know exactly the scene you're referring to. All right, next one.
Let's see what we got. Let's see if I can find one that's a little bit off.
Luke, I am your father.
But he doesn't say that.
Nope, he says, "No, I am your father."
One of the most misquoted Mandela
No,
effect.
it's not.
I am your
That's
father.
impossible.
No, bud.
Short
Okay,
feelings, you know it to be true.
cut. You gotta get it with emotion. You gotta be like, no!
I'm not about
No,
that.
it's not true!
It's impossible.
It's impossible! As I had close with one hand!
Hey, do you know who said, I have a bad feeling about this in each movie?
I could, yeah, actually, hold on, let's start with episode 1. The first, in chronological order, the first line said in Phantom Menace is Obi-Wan taking his hood off with Qui-Gon and said, "I have a bad feeling about this." And then Qui-Gon says, "I don't sense anything." He's like, "It's not about here, Master, it's somewhere elsewhere, elusive." And he's just like, "Don't center on your anxieties, Obi-Wan, keep your concentration here and now." He's like, "Where the focus belongs." And he's like, "But Master Yoda said I should be mindful of the future." And he's like, "But not at the expense of the living moment." You know?
Oh my gosh, holy crap.
I think
Okay,
we
the
lost
second
this.
one. The second I have a bad feeling about this is I know Attack of the Clones. Obi says this. Oh, okay, yeah. Jango Fett cables fucking gets the cable around Obi-Wan Kenobi. An exact reference to Boba Fett getting the cable around Luke Skywalker, mind you. It's a perfect parallel.
Okay.
And in that sequence, he kicks Jango off the edge, and he's sliding down, and he's like, "Oh, not good." Oh, never mind. He doesn't say that. I think it's maybe it's Anakin who says it first in the Geonosian arena. That's the one that stands out to me the most when Anakin's handcuffed and his hands are above his head. He's like, "I have a bad feeling about this."
So
He like says it really calmly.
It happened multiple
I
times.
think
in
there's
the-
more than one in Attack of the Clones, and I'm trying to think of the scenario Obi-Wan said it in. I think it's when he's getting chased by Jango. He's like, "Oh, I have a bad feeling about this," and R4 is like, "Wah, wah."
Okay, alright.
When he's getting chased in the asteroids, I believe he says, "I have a bad feeling." I could be wrong about that. I'm not completely sure, but I know the most famous one in Attack of the Clones is the Anakin one. He's like, "What about Padme? She seems to be on top of things." Remember, he like looks up and she's up there. "She can't do that. Jungle, finish her off." You know?
You got this all down.
Yeah, he does.
Shoot her or
This challenge
something.
was lost.
Yeah, you remember he's like, "Shoot her or,
You know, somebody
something."
actually did a video of
Let's
every
shoot her
single
or
time.
something.
Every single time it said. And
You don't wanna know-
everything. Like,
Okay,
Oh,
here's
oh,
the-
I know the line I'm thinking of. It's in the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. Anakin, Obi-Wan, they're fucking twin starfighter and do fucking Master and Apprentice shit, even though they're now equals and Jedi Knights brothers, if you will. And then Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, I have a bad feeling about this." Like, right when they're fucking in the flying sequence. I forget I forget what Anakin's follow-up line's directly that. He's just like, "There's Grievous ship ahead. The one crawling with vulture droids." Like, "Oh, this is going to be easy." You know?
Holy moly.
Yeah. And then in episode 4, the first I have a bad feeling about this is... I think it's Luke Skywalker and the Millennium Falcon. They get stuck in the tractor beam to the Death Star, and he's like, I have a really bad feeling about this. And Han's like, I think you're right. And then he's like, turn the ship around. And then like Obi-Wan's like, turn the ship around. He's like, we're caught in their tractor beam. They're not going to get us without a fight. And he's like, there are alternatives to fighting, you know? And then they get sucked in, and the music plays. And episode 5, I have a bad feeling. I think there's multiple ones. And it's my favorite I have a bad feeling about this because of like the sound effects and the voice distortion. When Han, Luke, Han, Leia, 3PO, R2, Chewie, they go into the little asteroid when they're getting chased by the Empire. They go in the worm. They're in the worm. They fucking see the Linox outside. They're like, ah! Leia screams. They go out there and it's like there's an awful lot of moisture in the air. And Leia says, I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this. Just the way she says it, and it sounds like a walkie-talkie distortion. I love that sound effect, man. It sounds like a stormtrooper, like, but it's Leia, and like she says it so calmly, and like it's so soothing the way she says it. And I'm trying to think of the fucking what's the Return of the Jedi? I have a bad feeling about this. This one's gonna take me a sec to think of.
Orlando when they attack the new Death Star.
I've told you, Return of the Jedi is my least seen one. So the ones I'm trying to think. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that one. I know in 7, the I have a bad feeling about that is when the fucking what is it? What are they called? The Rathars. Because like Finn goes raging Rathars on the villains in Battlefront 2. The Rathars. Yeah, when they get released, Han's like, I have a bad feeling about this. And he's like, this is not how I thought this day was gonna go. You know. I'm trying to think. What's the episode 8 one? I don't know the 8 and 9 one. Now to come to think of it.
Did you figure out? I was just looking this up. Did you figure out Return of the Jedi yet?
Let me think of that.
It's not.
I'm just like mentally skating through the beginning of the movie. It might not have been a Luke line or Han line. It might have been somebody else who says it.
Somebody completely different.
Let me see.
Think not biological.
I'm trying to think who says it. Is it? I don't think it's 3. Is it 3PO?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep, it's 3PO.
I'm trying to think when he would have said it.
Right before they go into Jabba's palace.
Oh, you're right. You're so right. And I think is that one of the only deliveries in Return of the Jedi?
As far as in that one, there's a second.
And then I know the Solo one, it's not even I have a bad feeling, it's like I have a really good feeling about this. And Solo, they do the opposite.
The second time in Jedi is when they're tied to the logs by the Ewoks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I wanted to say that, but I was like, oh, I don't know who delivers it there.
My friend wants me to ask you a tough one.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
And this one, I don't know where he got this. So most likely he copied it, but I don't even know if I can say it. Hold on. Chesko Subaba Chipoko Umengisa.
Oh yeah. He's like, be careful, Sebulba. He's just like, he's a big time outlander. I would hate to see you dice before the big race tomorrow. Right? Told you. He's like, and then later on, I know the translation, man. I know Phantom like no tomorrow. It's like one of my best ones is Phantom.
So we gotta have a part like towards the end of these things where people try to stump you.
Yeah, and then like you know what's so funny about that? If you never noticed, that is a perfect parallel to Greedo confronting Han in New Hope. Like Sebulba confronting Anakin and threatening him, he's like, "Hasta uta shag." He's like, "Triscudi dopant Slamo." Like, "Yo canta banta budu," and he's like flexing on his goggles after he breaks a little part off his pod. You like my Sebulba impression?
The viewers from my channel are actually loving this, and they're just throwing quotes at me like crazy.
That's so funny.
I'm not. Whatever.
Dude, I've had so many kids ask me, "Are you a YouTuber, Cactus?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Well, you should be." I'm like, "Well, that's funny." So that's why when you told me about this stream, I was like, "Oh, I'll be down to get my feet wet in this live streaming business." You know, see what people think.
Yeah, I think this went well. I think just organizing a little bit better. I got to figure out, like, I've already thought about it. Like, I got to write down, so I have to have a piece of paper with like numbers on it. And
just general outline, and for how long you want to have each topic for as well.
Know what you should do? Know what you should do next time? Instead of saying like going by our like PSN names or actual names. If everyone has a Twitch account, you should go by that.
Twitch account. Well, whatever you want to go by, I guess. Like whatever you.
Then
prefer.
be like, then people will be like, hey, they got Twitch.
I just love how
them.
Anakin said Jar Jar's a big time outlander, and he would hate to see Sebulba with dice because Jar Jar was gonna fuck you up. And then he's like, hi to Qui-Gon. He's like, and he's just like, your buddy here is about to be turned into orange goo, and he's like, thanks, my young friend. And then they're all walking, and then they just like, you better get home quick, Annie. There's a storm brewing up. And he's like, do you guys have shelter? And he's like, we have a ship. And he's like, where is it? And he's like, it's parked in the outer room. He's like, you'll never get there in time. Sandstorms are very dangerous. Come on, I'll take you to my place. And he's like, Mom, I'm home. These are my friends, Mom.
Come to his house.
I know he wanted to bring Padme back to the cribs. And then he's like, these are my friends, Mom, even though he just met them outside. Like, what?
Yep.
Anakin's such a little spaz. I love him.
I killed them all. Not just the men, the women, the children too.
And then he killed
like,
more
damn,
children later on.
Hey, Rogue.
I'm a child killer, like my father before me.
Is that all the questions for now? I think it's best. Yeah, let's move on to the next person's first entry to Star Wars, because I know mine was just like 30 minutes long.
Do we get everybody? I guess that's the question.
No, we did
like,
not get
damn,
anyone. We got Amadeus, we got me, we got...
Zero.
We didn't get yours.
Mine?
Oh, mine. Yeah.
Or
let's start with. Let's go with yours next. Let's hear yours, Rogue.
Okay, so my first is Return of the Jedi. Actually, seeing the movie in the theater at 8 years old. I don't remember. I just remember it being like my first experience in a theater. And then it wasn't until years later that I started watching the VHS tapes again. Like, I was barely big into Star Wars, but was more into the action figures, I would say. Than I was the movies when I was younger. And then when the VHSs came out, I started getting back into it again. And then episode 1 is where I started kind of falling back in love with Star Wars. And then I probably had years of, I was like, I like Star Wars. It's one of my favorites, but it's not quite my favorite. And honestly, it was Clone Wars that really got me back into it and totally made me fall in love with Star Wars again. And so that's kind of my journey.
Like Clone Wars, as in like the CG one, the fucking cartoon one?
Like the newer one, the actual canon one, the
2008. Yep.
Yeah.
So the CG one.
Yep. So that's.
Remember the cartoon one that they only had like maybe a couple episodes of?
It's 2 hours in total, the whole length of the whole show.
Oh, I remember seeing like parts of that. I was like, what? What is this? This was great. Mace Windu taking on a bunch of them fucking droids. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. They should.
That's where Anakin's heroic might in BF2 comes from. He does a heroic might in 03 Clone Wars. Yoda's hood that he wears in BF2 comes from the 03 Clone Wars as well. That's where Asajj came from. Grievous came from before they even had like their Clone Wars or Revenge debut. You know.
I need to rewatch that. I think that's one because you can find that on YouTube, right?
YouTube,
sure.
Yep, in HD, cleaned up very nicely.
I think like
separated into a part 1 and part 2. If you watch the one that's combined, it's lesser quality. I'd suggest the higher quality that's separated. Not a big deal to watch the second video an hour through.
Between now and next Monday, I'm going to watch that. And I
have a good topic for you guys. Have any of you guys ever played? I know everyone was going on about Revenge of the Sith, but have any of you ever played the Revenge of the Sith, the video game on PlayStation 2?
Of course, it was great.
Yes, I love that game.
I never played it, but I heard, like I said, that's the one thing I heard. I heard it was good.
Yes, if that game was remastered with PlayStation 5 graphics from the ground up, like they did with Ratchet and Clank, Spyro, Crash, if they did the same fucking treatment to that, I would potentially say that is the greatest Star Wars game of all time. Easy peasy. It has a versus multiplayer mode. They could include online servers, which would be fantastic. It has a little bit of a co-op mode to it. They could make it the whole game co-op for that matter if they really wanted to.
It's
just a great game.
Can you pick up youngling like limbs and use those as?
No, but you do fucking commence Order 66 on the temples as Anakin Skywalker, and you go up and just fucking everyone in the temple, man. I don't know. I don't want to spoil too much unless you've never played it. I'd recommend it. Like, get it on an emulator, display it through an HDMI port so it doesn't look so muddy and worn out. You know. But I don't want to spoil anything about the game. I will say this though.
Games, though, to me, Star Wars: The Old Republic is like one of the best.
Oh, you're an RPG. I'm not an RPG fan, so that I never had an Xbox or like really like a gaming PC to play it, so I never really got into it ever because I never had an Xbox.
Star Wars: The Old Republic. Oh yeah.
I've seen all the cutscenes though, and I will say the lightsaber battles in that cutscene are some like top tier battles right there.
So hey, Zero, what was your? So you said you played the Revenge of the Sith game. What did you like about it?
Assaulting the Jedi Temple as Anakin.
Dude, also, you know one of the biggest things about it? It's like an alternate version of the movie. There's lots of things in it that aren't in the movie, and it's like alternate takes on the scenes in the movie. Like, I'll give you one spoiler example. You get to use Anakin to fight Mace Windu. It's like a completely alternate take. You said you're into what ifs. This whole game is a what if, dude. It's like, literally like, someone took the Revenge of the Sith fucking storyline and put it in a blender and fucking just mixed it up a little bit and shot it back out.
Hey,
and like, I like the alternate Anakin voice actor. It has this voice actor for Anakin they used in the 2003 Clone Wars series. They used it in the original Battlefront 2, and they used it in Revenge of the Sith, the video game, and a couple other things, I believe. And it's like, he talks, the way he speaks is more like Hayden Christensen, but his voice isn't as similar. Like, Lautner sounds like his voice is similar, but his delivery is not there. The other Anakin had the delivery on point, like very monotone, very like you know, just like kind of boring sounding, but that's kind of like Hayden's Anakin, you know?
You know,
and
speaking of Matt Lantern, is it Lantern?
Lautner? Yeah, Matt Lautner.
Yeah, I had trouble, so after watching Clone Wars and finishing it off, I immediately watched Revenge of the Sith.
And it was weird adjusting to it.
It was a weird adjusting. Well, not even the voice.
Agreed.
It was the way Anakin acted.
Yes,
I'm
saying it's like
to
yes, man.
immature.
It's completely Clone Wars Anakin to me. It seems like Jake Lloyd Anakin grown up, where he's like kind of upbeat, spazzy, and like I'll bring you an example from BF2 the game. In the movie Attack of the Clones, Anakin says, "I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. Gets everywhere. Unlike here, where everything's soft and smooth." And he touches Padme. But in the game, he's like, "I don't like sand." Like hella angsty, like Kylo or something. It's like he doesn't
I don't
say,
like sand.
I don't like sand.
Like,
yeah,
okay.
he's like angry about it. Like, okay, we get it. You don't like sand. You don't gotta be angry about it.
I hate
like,
sand.
Fuck.
It kills my
Yeah,
mother.
man, that's the difference.
It gets
something
on my
like young Anakin would have said. I don't like sand. Like that's something
It
Jake
gets in my
Lloyd would have
boots when
said.
I go.
Not
It gets
Hayden.
in my boots when I go to the beach.
And that's what I really like about the Revenge of the Sith game. And also, you know, like the famous fucking quote, "You underestimate my power." I
You
love in the game.
underestimate my power.
In the game, he has an alternate line. He says, "You underestimate the power of the dark side." Now I'm like, yo, that sounds equally as sick, if not almost better. He's like, "You underestimate the power of the dark side." That's like something Vader would say, not even Anakin. Like, Anakin would say, "You underestimate my power," but Vader's like, "Oh, you underestimate the power of the dark side."
I would
like,
love
for
to
real.
see an animated version of Revenge of the Sith. Don't
Yes, that's
contradict
fun.
anything. Don't
Ooh.
contradict, but add to
Yes,
it.
it didn't contradict anything. It was perfect. And you know the scene with the lava waterfall and the object is tipping over and Anakin jumps, does like a crazy front flip, lands on a little platform, and like all the people on the like the sides like throw up scorecards like 10, 10, 10. You know, that's what I always picture when he does the jump. But in Revenge of the Sith, the video game, they made the jump 3 times as crazy, like on some Clone Wars shit, where he jumps like triple the distance and does like a crazier flip and lands perfectly, like way slicker. And I'm like, yo, that makes the movie look like shit, like in the game. I mean, if you go play the game now, obviously the graphics are not so great. But back in 05, when that game was new and I was 9 years old, that was like the definition of like next gen. Like, this is fire, graphics are fire, best Star Wars game ever.
Yeah, storyline is where I'd be most. And I don't know that I'd play it, but I might check out and see if I can find a.
You guys ever played like Jedi Outcast or Jedi Academy?
I tried.
Like the Jedi Knight series?
I have Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast on my Nintendo Switch. Oh my fucking god! The game pisses me off. It's so goddamn fucking hard.
They do not have the multiplayer game mode in the game. They removed it entirely. Want to know why? Because they're coming out with Academy after, which is the sequel. They were going to have online servers. And they wanted to make sure not to split the player base, so they put the fucking multiplayer in online servers to the other game. But I don't understand why that makes it so they can't have the offline server. Like, because I bought the game for $10, thinking me and my friend on PS4 were going to be able to play 1v1 against each other with bots and stuff and have a good time. But nope, they took it out, and I'm like, wow, man, that's just whack. And then they drop Academy for $10 more for $20. I'm like, may as well get a PC and fucking put some mods on it and make it look beautiful.
There you go, bud.
Nice.
But yeah, so those are my favorite Star Wars games. Is like original BF2, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. And fun fact, that game was on the GameCube for some weird reason. It was a PC exclusive game that got ported to the GameCube and not the PS2. It was like very odd. So like I always remember having that on GameCube, and I'd be like, "Yo, have you guys played Outcast? It's on GameCube." They're like, "What's Outcast?" Like I don't play that. I'm just like, "Oh, you're crazy, man." They had this like really cool Bespin stage, and it's like, I don't know. It was just fun. It's free-form lightsaber fighting, and you can control the direction your lightsaber slashes in. Like, it's like literally free-form. Like, your analog, the way you move it determines how your slashes. And you can saber lock, and you get like 100 points, and you get like a plethora of fucking force powers, and you could divert your 100 points to any fucking thing you want. So there's like, just like hundreds of different setups you could have. You could divert like anything, like your sabers. You could be dark side or the light side. It's just all the force powers that are in the lore of Star Wars are in the game, like speed, healing, rage,
so there's
anything
all
you can
kinds of
think of.
stuff that should have been in Battlefront 2 that...
Exactly, and like if you compare a game like that for 2002 when it came out, 2003, it's infinitely better for its time, man.
Okay, here's a main question about that game. Does it got private servers that you can set up and say play with your friends only, like 2v2 and all that
On
shit?
Academy, I don't own Academy, so I don't know, because I don't have Academy. I'm gonna get it eventually when it goes on sale, but for $20, I'm so invested in Battlefront, I probably feel like it'd be a waste of 20, like I wouldn't be playing it enough to justify it.
Well, when I win the Powerball, I'm buying EA, so we're getting
But
that.
like,
So.
but see, that's one thing too. Like I know some people in like the group did it. Like they had like the little like what is it? Had like that tournament where they like set up this like the showdowns or whatever. One thing I would say that'd be interesting. Of course, they don't have it in the fucking game. Is like set up your own private room, private like server.
Dude, Battlefront 2015 had private matchmaking, and in 2017 does not. It's very tragic, man. Very tragic.
And that's what, like I said. That's what I'm getting at. Like if they had that, just to think of the fucking HVV matches like we could have had.
You could have leagues. You could let have
custom matches. They could have competitive and they could have custom matchmaking, which is something the game Overwatch. If you guys have ever played that, I know that's a little off topic, Overwatch, but HEV is low key a direct ripoff of Overwatch. The way it functions and shit, like the triangle ultimate L1 R1 L1 R1 ability, like that's very cliche that thing, but like. The way HVV does it very similarly to Overwatch, and they let people make custom game modes in Overwatch. They let the players mess with the settings. So imagine if they had that in Battlefront. Let's say 10 Darth Vaders running around against some like 20 Luke Skywalkers, or just imagine the infinite possibilities that people like us that are just sitting here doing jack shit, playing games, talking Star Wars, what they could do in their free time, and all these creative people, all these creative folks. You've seen what modders do to BF2. Imagine what people could do with custom matches, like. You could have gun game or free for all with heroes and villains. Make the last hero BB9 to get a kill with to win gun game. Make the first one like the best character like Vader.
How about
so on and so forth.
Where it's Kashyyyk, but you only get one of those little areas.
Custom, yeah.
And you have to play
sort of map building thing
area.
like.
That would drive me nuts.
Dude, imagine, yes, you could restrict maps, like make it just one area on a map. Infinite possibilities.
Create maps to actually have pieces.
Imagine a giant Darth Vader and everyone else's blaster heroes, and you gotta kill the giant Darth Vader before he gets X amount of kills. Like, before giant Vader gets 100 kills, you gotta kill a giant Vader first.
I just want to order
like, just imagine Vader the size of a building.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Like where you have the 501st versus
infinite abilities, man. Possibilities. Bioverse versus Younglings, that's the PC mod. You can't do that on a rated T game.
Somebody said that they should get the original Battlefront ported over to PS4. They should just port over all.
Yes, I agree with that person. 100,000.
BF1 and BF2 with online servers on the PlayStation Store would take a shit on the player base for BF2, so that's the reason they've never done it.
Like
they know it. They know it will. If they put BF2 with online servers cleaned up a little bit, and people know that it would jeopardize this player base. This already dying player base, mind you.
BF2 was the best. It's like, instead of saying like, oh, okay, here's like troops you can pick. Vehicles are on the map. You want to jump in a vehicle? There you go. Jump in a vehicle. Heroes? You can't pick a hero. But hey, you died, you respawn here. Here's a chance to be Obi-Wan. There you go. You can be Obi-Wan for a limited time only. Not know you can be Obi-Wan forever.
Yeah.
It's like, see, that's one thing. Like I said, Battlefield 2, like I said, the original Battlefield 2, especially Battlefield 2. Oh my god. Battlefront, yeah. The original Battlefront 2, I swear to God, I played that campaign so much. So much. That's how great that game is. Even
I
just
feel like it's low key unfair to compare the current gen to the PS2 gen because I was looking at these graphs of content to graphic ratios. And the content to graphic ratio in the PlayStation 2 days was at its peak, as in you could have the max amount of content for still having fantastic graphics for those times. But in modern times, the graphics take up so much file size now. Developers have to choose between beauty of the game, the graphical appearance, and content size. Hence why Battlefront 2015, games like Destiny, BF2 are lacking in the content department compared to the older counterparts, is because the content to graphic ratio is not there. In order to make the graphics the way they look right now, they have to downsize in content. If they just made shit graphics like Minecraft, if they downgraded graphics and upped the content, I think everyone would be okay with that. Don't you agree with me? That people would be okay with lesser graphics for more content?
But I got a bad cough on that. One second. Red Dead Redemption 2 online.
Which game online?
Red Dead Redemption 2 online.
That game, the character models are a little lackluster. Just saying. And that's Rockstar. Rockstar is like an exception. Rockstar is
like the story mode, playing the whole game like single player story mode. Awesome.
I get it. It's a lot of content, but if you think about it, that content is repeating the same things in different ways. So is it really a lot of content? I don't know about that.
Dude, I'm not talking about playing it single player and stuff like that. I'm just talking about saying you play a game and you expect how you're going on about more graphics over content. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 itself, single player, it had a good handful of content, to keep you busy and shit like that.
That's because Rockstar is the king.
I'm talking about the online part though. When the online part was activated or whatever, or became available, what could you do in Red Dead Online 2? Do the little bit of story missions, maybe an event or two here and there. That was it.
Yeah, it's fucking Wild West house chores.
And then they added an update. Oh, here's legendary animals you can hunt. Okay, what about more story missions? More stuff I can do with my friends? We're working on we're working on GTA 5 first for that stuff. Here's some animals for you guys to shoot.
Yeah.
GTA is more important. It's why is GTA so important? Oh, wait a minute, you guys are releasing it on... Don't get. I don't even want to think about that.
GTA 5 is like a special exception in history. Like the one game that's been on 3 fucking systems for real. Well, it's about to be on 3 systems, but that GTA 5 is like an anomaly in video game history. It's special. It's a special case.
They probably won't even reproduce it in the next one. I mean, everything has to just work so perfectly to.
It's already being ported to PS5, with great graphics and updated content. You didn't know that it's going on PS5 with updated graphics and shit.
Rogue, Rogue. If you had it, when
Sony
Sony released that video, for their first PS5 announced video, they showed games first. What was the first fucking game they showed?
Was it
GTA 5?
Oh, it was. I thought it was Spider.
Yeah, it was fucking steely wheely automobile, man.
GTA 5. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, okay, I see it. I'm like, oh, Rockstar. I'm like, okay, maybe it could be a new game. The next thing you know, GTA 5. I just literally want to just close YouTube right then and there and just not watch the rest of it.
I will get a PS5 when Battlefront 3 comes out.
I said the same thing, deadass, less than a day ago.
Okay, here's a question.
Yesterday actually.
If you have the choice between, and I don't know, I've said this before. I don't know if any of you have answered this. You have the choice in Battlefront 2 between getting 4 new characters and maybe a couple new planets, or getting private matches. Which one are you going with?
At this rate, the new heroes and shit, because there is a way to get there's a workaround to get private matches, correct?
Yeah, but it's...
So therefore, you may as well just get the heroes and fucking struggle. We've been doing it for so long anyways, we're fucking used to it.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
I'd take the extra heroes, man, for real. But I wonder what that would do to the game. I feel like they need, the real kicker is the lack of maps and the lack of different game play styles on different maps.
One thing they should have, I understand they got the 4v4 heroes versus villains and stuff like that. Maybe kind of have bigger mode with like heroes and villains, and also
That's what I keep saying.
and
There should be like 4 hero game modes in this game, like not 1, not 2, fucking like 5. Dude, fuck.
And also too, more heroes. It's like the only thing these people have to fucking do with this game to add more heroes. All they gotta do is this. Let me take like Obi-Wan. Alright, let me just change him up, change his skin. Okay, let me just change maybe a little bit of motions here and there, and then let me just give him some new skills. And there you go.
I mean, it's probably a little more complicated, however.
Oh, I know.
I got a good topic concerning Battlefront. What were your guys' 2 most wanted heroes / villains in the game that you guys never got? What were your 2 that you wanted?
All right, hero. Okay,
I already know you guys are about 8 out of 10 people are probably gonna go Ahsoka.
Yeah.
All right, but what's in here?
Okay, heroes.
I knew it.
Heroes for me, if I'm gonna go like, okay, throughout everything.
You get one hero, one villain choice for the game. Who would you choose?
Oh, okay, 1 hero, 1 villain. All right, okay.
Yeah.
I know you said 2. Okay, we're going with 1 now. All right, 1 hero, Mace Windu, hands down.
When I said 2, I meant 1 on each side, like you know.
Okay, all right.
Oh, so
Mace
Windu, and who would you have to rival him?
Have as a villain?
Yeah, who would you have to rival Windu? Because you need a pair. Like I said, you need 2. Like, who would you pick? A hero and a villain?
There must be 2.
Well,
I feel like the choice is clear. Like there is no.
Well, I know on Camino Obi-Wan was to fight Jango Fett, but Mace Windu was the one to fucking completely decapitate Jango
So you think
Fett.
Jango would be the rival?
Well, I would probably throw. I wouldn't say he'd be the rival, but I would say I would probably pick Django just because
Okay.
fucking fucked him
For
up.
me, I have an alternate take, and I have a reason I would not take Jango, and that obviously Jango should be in it, but here's the reason why. Boba is already cancer enough in HDV. We don't need fucking him and his dad fucking flying around shooting rockets at us in the fucking sky.
Here's the
That would completely
I want to have him
break.
jetpack, though.
It would diminish the fun factor of the game and break the balance, in my opinion. It would break the balance.
Here's the thing. Well, what if they, what if they changed up Django's skills compared to Boba?
Like maybe they gave Django no jetpack? That would be like
no
why am I
jetpack?
Django fed on the fucking ground? No, that'd be
Like,
bullshit.
no-
You'd be like, why am I Django on the ground? That'd be shitty.
Or maybe some kind of instead of like a jetpack flying around, maybe.
I mean, unlike Boba, Django actually fires in the air, and Boba never fired in the air one fucking time. So actually, it'd be like wrong to do that. It'd be so wrong. It'd hurt my soul.
Or maybe he could have some kind of super evasive jump where he you press it, he jumps, does some
Maybe it
super
functions
jetpack
more
jump
like a jet
back.
trooper or something, like a jump pack or some shit.
Okay.
But also too at the same time as he's jumping back, it could be like an evasive move. He jumps back, but he takes
I think
takes
Django is a necessity at one point in the other, but he wouldn't be my first pick for villain. My first pick for a villain would be Palpatine with a lightsaber to rival Windu, and I think they would be a perfect pair, perfect rivals.
And that's the thing. I was gonna go with Palpatine, but Palpatine's already in the game though.
Yes, but have a separate
But he doesn't have a
playable character with
lightsaber.
completely different
Have
abilities.
Sidious and Palpatine as 2 different
And
characters.
like I said,
Exactly.
and
He would
like I
be
said,
2 different characters. He would have one. He would have his robes decked out OT style with lightning, and then the other would be prequel Palpatine in his red vest that he wears when he's like, "I am the Senate."
And that could be the same thing.
And think about his abilities,
and that
it
could be
would
the
work
same
well.
thing
He
with
would be like
Django and
Dooku.
Boba as well. Like
He'd be like a
same
Dooku
character,
Grievous
but
combo,
different.
where I think like his L1 R1, he'd be able to pull out both sabers and increase his damage and swing speed like a rip-off duelist, And his L1 could be similar to Dooku's, have some sort of electricity, and his R1 could be some sort of dash attack, he'll do his spin attack like he does as lightning pulse, but it'll be a stab, it'll be raised dash strike.
When he evades and he does
It'll be like a raised dash
spin,
strike combined with the
but
Darth Maul spin.
But instead he's doing the spin.
Yeah, so he'd be like a hybrid between Grievous,
like in the movie, like you see in the movie he does, where he fucking lunges at Yoda.
He does that
spins.
as lightning palps, but they could also incorporate that as a full-on R1 ability for a dash strike, like an aerial dash strike, Darth Maul spin kind of attack. And his L1 R1 again could be a duelist ripoff. His L1 could be a Dooku Zap ripoff. There you go. That's minimal thought right there.
I've got a different counter.
Who would you pick for Mace's counter?
I got Ponkrell.
See, you can't pick somebody over the movie you can't pick somebody that's not in the movie though over that because that's insulting to the actor.
I would still do it. Ponkrell would be so cool to look at.
He's like fuck your movie
huge
shit
with the spider all those different arms. And
Pong
stuff like
Krell
that.
would be cool on the dark side, but he's never truly with the dark side. He never joined with Dooku. He even said in the episode that soon I will have a new master. Like, he never actually studied under Dooku.
Yeah,
He
but if
wanted
you had
to.
him in the game, I think you have to have
He wouldn't. He couldn't be on the dark side technically because he never is associated with the dark side. He never joins them. He's never with them. It just wouldn't be right. And if they did have him on the dark side, I think a good pair for him would be Ayla. Like Ayla and him would be a good pair, like dual sabers versus quad sabers.
If I were to choose my hero and villain, I mean, everybody's maybe said before Asajj and Ahsoka, but I won't go there.
Yeah, that's the second
would
pick to
choose-
me. Besides Mason Palp's second, Asajj Ahsoka.
Yeah.
They'd
That
be
would
the
be my
most
second
even and
too.
balanced.
My first would be Saw Gerrera as hero.
What?
And his counterpart.
Interesting.
That's
And who would his counterpart be?
My villain of choice would be Thrawn.
The two people that never really ever fight except when
They did not ever fight, but Saw
Okay,
Gerrera.
are we talking
they will
Forrest
be
Whitaker
support
Guerrera or are we
characters.
talking Clone Wars
Forrest-
Guerrera?
You could have.
Clone Wars
You
Guerrera? They can be either way, but they'll be support characters. That's one.
We got okay. What about? I don't know the character's name. Well, what about the character that fucking Donnie Yen played as?
Oh yeah,
The blonde
Chirrut.
guy.
His name's
Yeah.
Chirrut.
Get him in
Chirrut
there.
would be funny.
As soon as I seen that, I was like, "Ooh, Hitman!"
You know what's really nice about that movie? They made Donnie Yen's best friend, Donnie, a Chinese man, and he made his best friend a fucking Mongolian actor, because you know the Chinese and the Mongols have beef throughout history. They made his best friend Mongolian. How funny is that? That's
If
awesome.
you want me to choose two characters that
Irony.
actually fight, then it'll be Sabine Wren for heroes and IG-88.
Jeez, over Mace or Qui-Gon? That's tough, man. I'm sorry. That's a oof there. Like, y'all
That
didn't even
could
say
be fun,
Qui-Gon
'cause-
Jinn. Y'all hurting my soul right now. You're talking about Phantom Menace when, like, y'all, not one person said Qui-Gon. I'm sorry, but I'm hurt.
Well, that's because Qui-Gon is already, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's in Battlefront 1.
No, Qui-Gon's not in any
Is he
fucking
not in
Battlefront game. No,
Is he not in
you can't even
Battlefront
play
1?
as heroes or villains in Battlefront 1, man.
You were able to, was you not? When
No, 2003, there was only AI-assisted heroes and villains. Fun fact, if you never knew that, actually.
See, now that would kind of suck.
That's what confused people, is like, you see hero, but it's an AI. In Battlefront 2, it was so revolutionary because it was the first time you could be a hero and slaughter troopers.
You know, the problem with the prequel era is there's already so many heroes and villains available.
I know,
like,
that's
is
what
there
I'm saying. That's
anybody-
why I feel like it's wrong to choose these blaster no-names over, like, these prequel actors who actually had real screen time and, you know...
So is there anybody you can add?
Battlefront 1 a little bit.
I think the top two heroes that should be added in this order are Mace Windu, Qui-Gon Jinn, then Ahsoka Tano, then bring back Jyn Erso because she's already made from Battlefront 2015. Yes, because she's already a playable character in 2015 Battlefront, and she's already programmed and made. So all they have to do is just port her over and tweak her a little bit. And Krennic's a character in
Krennic,
Battlefront
yeah,
2015.
Krennic is also a character. He's her counterpart.
But yeah, I think
Can you add
Qui-Gon
anybody
needs to
to
be
the
before
sequel trilogy
Ahsoka.
to give more options there? Because there's
There's legit no options you could add from
I
the
know.
sequel
Yeah.
trilogy at all. But what they could do is add old skins. They could add old Luke skin, old
Yeah.
Billy D skin, old Carrie Fisher skin, you know, so on and so forth. Old fucking dude, imagine Alec Guinness skin for Obi-Wan in fucking with Alec Guinness impersonator voice lines. That'd be fucking godly.
the only person they don't have here is Dameron.
Poe Dameron
I
is
mean,
not the
yeah.
only main character that you know.
And Dameron, it showed that he's
as
a
the-
better
as the
shot than
main-
Finn. And how do they
yeah,
have
than
Finn when
Finn,
Dameron's a
yes.
better shot?
Yeah, that's
He
what I'm
was
saying.
clapping
That's-
stormtroopers in the beginning of them fucking Force Awakens. He was clapping fucking starfighters left and right. I mean, actually, Poe is in the game. He's just a starfighter hero. That's it, though.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is, as a hero versus villains character,
That
that's what I
wouldn't
was
make.
trying to
I know,
He
but
would
yeah,
have
he
to be
never
a
fights.
blaster hero.
Finn makes more sense because he goes toe to toe with Kylo, so it makes sense about him being on the battlefront, like a little bit of sense. But Finn or Poe, like when does Poe fight Kylo? He never fights Kylo.
But you know what? He's one of the few that is an option. Like literally.
Yeah, he's one of the legit only better than Rose Tico. Fuck.
Rose.
No, Nyanub.
They win.
Nyanub's in the sequels. There you go. And he was in 2015 Battlefront. Nyanub is the perfect candidate, actually, over Poe.
Okay.
He's already a character, and like he's in the sequels. And Lando is only in 9. I don't know why they had Nyanub in 7, 8, and 9, but no Lando. I really think they missed the opportunity by not having Billy D throughout the whole trilogy. Like very underutilized. Come on now. I get it. He's
sequel
80
trilogy?
something. It's
Yeah.
probably hard to book. Yeah, there's no reason they couldn't have had Lando. Like Han, we already know Harrison he only agreed to be in Force Awakens, and they somehow fucking mind tricked him into fucking being in 9. I don't know how. Probably saw the check with the zeros.
Here's a little trivia for you. So, and this runs throughout the movies and the television side. Lando there was a character from Rebels that owed him a favor, and it paid off in Rise of Skywalker. You know what I'm talking about?
Shit, it was Hera's. It was one of Hera's favors, and he had Hera's ship show up in 9.
Yep, it's the first ship you see next to Millennium Falcon.
Did you know Hera Syndulla has a name drop in Rogue? Did you know Hera has a name drop in Rogue One?
Yep. General
They say Captain Syndulla. Yeah, no, she's Captain Syndulla. Or is she General Syndulla or is she Captain Syndulla?
No, they said General.
General Syndulla.
Yeah, and she would definitely.
Yeah, and also another Easter egg they have in that scene, that same scene. There's the Cassian and some other rebels are sitting on a fucking pod race engine. If you noticed in the background, they legit have some pod race engines in the background.
Which is
on
why so many of us believe who we think it is in the beginning of the trailer of Mandalorian, but since Cactus doesn't like us doing spoilers, I believe.
Oh, I haven't even seen the Mandalorian season 2 trailer, so let's not go there.
Yep.
I already know they're gonna have fucking who live action, and she's gonna look ugly as fuck.
I think they're gonna put so much effort into that.
Everyone's hard-ons from Ahsoka are gonna deflate once they see her live action.
I think they're gonna put so much. I think they're gonna go through so many different. They're gonna give her makeup, and it's gonna be bad, and then they're gonna change it. They're gonna put so much effort into it. They can't mess that up. Dude,
she's gonna look as ugly as Shakti, man.
Shakti looks horrible. That is my fear. That is my fear that she looks.
Yeah, I mean, the second they announced her, I'm like, why are they announcing that? Why aren't they saving that for when it comes out? Like, they're gonna announce the fucking what's his name, Django's actor Timur, whatever, fucking is gonna be fucking in the show. Like, how about fucking don't tell us, and that way when the show drops across social media will be fucking plot twists left and right. No, they said he's gonna be in the show, so we know he's gonna see his face. Imagine how much better it would be if he just showed his face without any fucking prior knowledge to that he's going to do that. We don't know who he's going to play. We don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to be Boba Fett? Is he going to be a fucking is it going to be a War Vet clone? What is he going to do?
They were able to keep that a secret, but they haven't been able
and they can't keep Ahsoka and fucking Boba's actor a secret or Jango's actor a secret. Fucking assholes, man, for real.
Well, Reddit can't keep it. I mean, from what I told Rogue.
Yeah. I guess maybe it's for people that haven't given Mandalorian a try. I feel like that kind of spoiler is for people who've never given Mandalorian a try and they know Rebels or Clone Wars and they're like, "Oh, Ahsoka's gonna be in it. Maybe I should watch the show from the beginning now." You know what I mean?
They didn't need it.
It's to incentivize that kind of behavior of people who haven't seen it to get people to watch it. People like me, if you just throw the word Star Wars on it, I'm watching it no matter the fucking cost. It could be fucking not even Star Wars, but just put the name on it, I'll still watch it.
See, the problem
I'll be disappointed
after Rise of Skywalker and after not giving them any kind of clue what the movie was going to be about. We got the leaks, but the trailers didn't tell us crap. I think that they're like, okay, that didn't work very well. What they don't realize is it didn't work because they screwed up the trilogy. And that's the reason why it didn't work. It didn't work.
I think one of the biggest faults in the sequel trilogy is the lack of passage of time. One of the things that set the prequels and originals apart is you get the feeling that the characters have been through a lot between the movies. You get that feeling. But with Rey, fucking 8 is one day after, which is where they fucked up real bad. They should have made 8 a time jump in the future to justify her Mary Sue powers. They didn't do that. They make it one day and she becomes Mary Sue in the matter of over a day. But and then 9 is only 1 year later, and look how powerful she is in 9. Fucking meditating, levitating off the floor, doing her little training sequence with the droid. That doesn't justify your inherent blood power should not justify.
I agree, but that's pretty much how they.
And I just think that they should have made dude, 2 and 1 are 10 years apart. The originals have 4 years between New Hope and Return of the Jedi. It's a 3-year gap between New Hope Empire. You feel like Luke Skywalker, like, whoa, he's now General Skywalker. What the fuck did he do in the rebellion for 3 years? Like, why is he so high up? How many battles has Luke fought now? But with Rey, it's just like, oh, she's Rey. Like, she's here now. And also, a character that can do no wrong is an unlikable character. Luke does wrong. He disobeys Yoda blindly. And what does she do wrong? The only wrong thing she ever did in the movies was, quote-unquote, killing Chewbacca, which she actually didn't do. And not only did it was an accident on top of that. So she didn't like purposely do it. It was an accident. And Luke, there's like so many things Luke does where he blindly disobeys other people for his friends and other things. But Mary Sue, she can do no wrong. That's why Kylo's so much better of a character, because Kylo does wrong. He's relatable. He has he's emotionally torn at the seams. Like, he's relatable. Mary Sue, completely unrealistic. A person like that would never exist in real life at all. She's unbelievable. And I'm just sorry, but Daisy Ridley, such a novice actress in my opinion. She started acting in high school, dude. And if you think about the cast of Star Wars, they're all people who have ridiculous XP behind them. I know I just said XP, but like they all have ridiculous resumes and acting experiences. Look at Ewan McGregor, look at Liam Neeson, look at the prequel actors they chose, and look at the sequel actors they chose. John Boyega, minimal experience. Daisy, minimal experience.
Oh, John Boyega. Have you ever seen Attack the Block?
Dude, I've seen it, yes, where he plays an American.
Is amazing. But
that's like, he's a great actor, but he's minimal experience. Like, he's not like an experienced actor veteran. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Mark Hamill was already a fucking, he's like a one trick pony. Like, he plays in New Hope. He's like, that's his character, that's the way he acts. Harrison Ford, again, kind of one trick pony kind of characters, but Harrison Ford was already an established actor. Hamill was a somewhat established actor. Alec Guinness is a goddamn fucking war hero and an established actor. Fucking Tarkin, Peter Cushing, famous ass actor in fucking Young Frankenstein and shit. He's in famous ass movies, man. Like, James Earl Jones was already in things. Like, you just pick out the cast of the OT, fat resumes, Billy D. Williams, nice resume behind him, but you take the sequels, they're all actors with shitty backgrounds or like novice actors, like inexperienced.
Here's
one of the
one
most
thing about
experienced was
Mark Hamill.
Oscar Isaac.
Hey, well, little thing about Mark Hamill. You know, he had never seen a Star Wars movie before he
wasn't even big into sci-fi, and I've seen a lot of his interviews at the time, and he thought Star Wars was more like a Wizard of Oz type movie, you know, and he thought it wasn't going to be successful at all. He didn't really like sci-fi, and he was just like, all right, I guess I'll do it. You want to know how he got the role? I have a really interesting story for that.
Okay.
Basically, he was living with the actor for Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger, the actor, auditioned for the role, got denied, and guess who was living with him at his time as his roommate? This young actor named Mark Hamill. And he said, yo, Mark, you should go try out for this role for this movie. And he's like, you know what, I will give that a try. And guess what? That's Luke Skywalker. All because Freddy Krueger recommended Mark Hamill to go to the fucking audition for the movie. And they're both living in California at the time. Like Hamill's from like San Diego. I forget where the Krueger guy's from, but isn't that funny?
You know what Krueger's
Like, you look at Freddy Krueger's face, he has a big nose. He just does not look the part of Luke Skywalker. No wonder he got denied and shot down. Poor guy.
Hey, so
just did not look the part.
So we're gonna end the show though, right? For right now, it's we're a little over an hour. I gotta get some stuff done around the house real quick, and then I'm gonna be back on the battlefront here in about half an hour, I think. No, this was awesome. I think we'll pick up again whoever's available next Monday, same time, same bat time, same bat channel, and I'm gonna watch that Clone Wars. The original Clone Wars,
2003 in between, so we could talk about that next week.
But I want to say thank you to Amadeus, Cactus, Julian, and Zero, and that's the end of the show. May the Force be with you.
May the Force